Universally acknowledged as one of the most pervasive and beloved creepypastas ever penned, the Russian sleep experiment stands out not only for the macabre essence of its narrative, but also for its plausible veneer. Even today, a significant portion of the discourse surrounding this tale revolves around endeavors to ascertain its veracity or to dismantle it as a fabrication, a phenomenon that not only underscores the tale's impact, but also taps into profound societal apprehensions. For the uninitiated, the Russian sleep experiment purports to recount real-life trials conducted by the Soviet regime and military in the aftermath of World War I. Ostensibly an exploration into the effects of sleep deprivation on human physiology, the experiment also served as a trial for a novel gas capable of inducing prolonged wakefulness. The narrative chronicles the deterioration of the test subjects, commonly known within the creepypasta community as the test subjects, the ghastly aftermath of these trials, and the emergence of frenzied, quasi-subhuman entities, often depicted alongside the story, are encapsulated in a single haunting image that embodies the entire legend. In the late 1940s, Russian researchers subjected 5 individuals to a harrowing 15-day ordeal, fueled by an experimental gas-based stimulant. These subjects were confined in a hermetically sealed environment, meticulously monitored to regulate their oxygen intake and prevent fatal gas exposure, given its toxicity in concentrated forms. In an era devoid of closed-circuit surveillance, their activities were scrutinized solely through microphones and porthole-sized windows made of 5-inch thick glass. The chamber was provisioned with literature, bare cots for repose, albeit devoid of bedding, essential amenities such as running water and sanitation facilities, and a surplus of dried sustenance adequate for more than a month. Initially, the subjects exhibited no distress during the initial 5 days, swayed by false promises of freedom if they endured the experiment without sleep for 30 days. However, as the trial progressed, their discourse and demeanor gradually veered towards increasingly harrowing reminiscences of their past ordeals. By the 4th day, a palpable sense of foreboding had pervaded their interactions, casting a shadow over the once innocuous endeavor. Upon the 5th day, discontent tainted their discourse as they bemoaned the trajectory of their fate, succumbing to profound paranoia. Dialogue among them ceased, replaced by intermittent murmurs directed towards the microphones and the unidirectional mirrored apertures. Strangely, a shared delusion emerged, wherein they believed betrayal of their comrades, fellow subjects ensnared alongside them, could curry favor with their captors. Initially, researchers attributed this to the purported effects of the gas itself. By the 9th day, the first among them unleashed a torrent of screams, traversing the expanse of their confinement, persisting for 3 uninterrupted hours until his vocal cords surrendered to shredded whispers. Astonishingly, the reactions of the others, or rather their lack thereof, eclipsed the screams. In eerie harmony, the 2 remaining captives dismantled their literary refuge, besmirching every page with their excrement before calmly obscuring the glass portals. Instantaneously, the screams fell silent. Simultaneously, the confessional whispers to the microphones ceased. 3 additional days elapsed, with the researchers meticulously monitoring the microphones, incredulous at the absence of sound from within the chamber housing 5 souls. Despite the assurance of oxygen consumption indicating the continued vitality of all 5, the levels mirrored that of arduous physical exertion. On the dawn of the 14th day, in a departure from their previous stance, the researchers resorted to the intercom within the chamber, a desperate bid to elicit any semblance of response from captives feared either deceased or rendered inert. Their pronouncement reverberated within. "We unseal the chamber for microphone testing. Retreat from the entrance and prostrate, or face termination. Compliance may secure immediate liberation for one." In a startling turn, a lone voice calmly retorted, "Freedom holds no allure for us." Debate ensued among the researchers and the military backers. With the intercom yielding no further response, Consensus settled to unseal the chamber at the stroke of midnight on the 15th day. The chamber underwent a purging of the stimulating gas, replaced by a rush of fresh air, initiating an immediate outcry from the microphones. 3 distinct voices pleaded, as though bargaining for the salvation of cherished lives, beseeching for the reinstatement of the gas. Upon opening the chamber, soldiers ventured forth to retrieve the test subjects. Their screams crescendoed, matched only by the horrified wails of the soldiers upon beholding the scene within. 4 of the 5 subjects remained among the living, though the term life seemed a dubious descriptor for their condition. Beyond the 5th day, the provisions remained untouched. Remnants of flesh, harvested from deceased subjects, clogged the central drain, facilitating the pooling of water on the chamber floor, the composition of which remained a macabre mystery. The surviving subjects bore extensive mutilations, their flesh rent asunder, revealing sinew and bone. Examination revealed self-inflicted wounds, rendered not by teeth, as initially presumed, but by human hands. Notably absent were the abdominal organs, extracted with surgical precision, leaving the vital organs exposed amidst a tableau of gore. Their digestive tracts, still operational, processed their own flesh, consumed over days of grotesque self-cannibalism. Despite being primarily comprised of Russian operatives, many soldiers balked at the prospect of re-entering the chamber to extract the subjects, who vehemently resisted, clamoring to remain within the confines, urging the reinstatement of the gas to stave off slumber. To the astonishment of all, the subjects fiercely resisted their removal, resulting in casualties among the soldiers. Throats were torn asunder, testicles severed, and lives claimed, including those who succumbed to despair in the aftermath. Amidst the chaos, one subject succumbed to a ruptured spleen, hemorrhaging rapidly. Attempts to sedate him proved futile, as he thrashed with a strength defying the limits of mortality. Even as his heart faltered, his cries persisted, echoing the singular demand for more, until silence at last enveloped him. The trio of remaining test subjects were heavily bound and relocated to a medical facility, where the pair possessing intact vocal cords persisted in beseeching for the gas, adamant in their plea to remain conscious. Of the 3, the most grievously wounded was ushered into the sole surgical theater within the facility. In the process of readying him for the intricate procedure to reposition his organs, it became apparent that the sedative administered had minimal effect. Resisting fiercely against his restraints, he nearly severed a sturdy 4-inch leather strap, despite the weight of a 200-pound soldier bearing down on him. Only a slightly augmented dosage of anesthetics sufficed to induce unconsciousness, yet the moment his eyelids fluttered shut, his heart ceased its rhythm. Subsequent examination during autopsy revealed a blood oxygen level 3-fold higher than standard. His musculature exhibiting severe trauma and 9 fractured bones, a testament to the titanic struggle against subjugation. The second survivor, initiator of the group's cacophonous outcry, rendered mute by the obliteration of his vocal cords, offered no protestations to the impending surgery, save for vehement head-shaking at the sight of anesthetic gas. A reluctant nod signaled acquiescence to the notion of proceeding sans anesthesia, enduring the arduous 6-hour endeavor to reinstate his abdominal organs, his countenance betraying enigmatic smiles that unnerved the attending personnel. Upon conclusion, amidst wheezing attempts at communication, he conveyed a concise directive: continue cutting. The remaining pair underwent identical procedures, sans anesthesia but with the addition of a paralytic agent. Laughter permeated the theater, rendering the operation untenable until their paralysis, after which they fixated on the researchers with unnerving intensity. Upon regaining speech, their singular demand persisted: the re-administration of the stimulant gas. Inquiries regarding their self-inflicted injuries and relentless pursuit of wakefulness were met with a singular declaration: I must endure wakefulness. Securely restrained once more within the chamber, their fate hung in the balance as the researchers, besieged by the ire of their military backers for their perceived shortcomings, mulled over the prospect of euthanasia. The commanding officer, a former KGB operative, envisioned potential amidst the chaos, advocating for the resumption of gas administration. Though met with vehement dissent from the researchers, his authority prevailed. Preparations for their return to confinement involved linking the subjects to EEG monitors and cushioning their restraints for extended captivity. To everyone's astonishment, all three ceased their resistance upon hearing they would be reintroduced to the gas. It became evident they were waging a fierce battle against slumber. One vocal subject hummed incessantly, while the mute one strained against his bonds in a rhythmic motion. The third subject, wired for EEG, exhibited mostly normal brainwaves, albeit sporadically flatlining, akin to bouts of cerebral death, before resuming normalcy. Amidst the scrutiny of the brainwave output, a solitary nurse witnessed his abrupt descent into sleep, culminating in cardiac arrest. The lone vocal subject clamored to be sealed inside, mirroring the flatlines indicative of fatal slumber. The commander, undeterred, ordered the chamber sealed with both subjects and 3 researchers. However, one among the trio, in a startling turn, brandished a firearm, dispatching the commander and the mute subject in swift succession. Pointing the gun at the remaining subject, restrained upon the bed, amidst the chaotic exodus of the medical team, he bellowed his query, demanding to know their identity. The subject, serene, retorted with a smile. "Have you forgotten?" The response echoed. "We are the untamed madness dwelling within, yearning for emancipation in the depths of your primal psyche. We are the specters you conceal beneath the covers each night, subdued into silence and immobility in your nocturnal refuge." The researcher hesitated, then aimed for the subject's heart, silencing the EEG as life ebbed away, accompanied by a faint murmur of liberation. So, nearly free,